What if the random sexual thoughts that appear out of nowhere aren't a glitch, but actually proof that your brain is working exactly as designed? You're not doing anything, just scrolling, watching something, lying in bed, and suddenly it hits. No warning, no context. So what's actually happening in there? Because most people assume these urges are just urges, but the science behind them is a lot more interesting than that. Your brain moves faster than you think. Here's something that might surprise you. Arousal can begin in under 2 seconds, before you've consciously registered what triggered it. Your brain doesn't wait for you to catch up. A tiny structure called the hypothalamus acts like a background scanner, constantly picking up on subtle cues, a scent, a tone of voice, a memory, even warmth in someone's expression. And the moment it picks up something, it releases dopamine. Not after you decide you're interested. Before. Research suggests that even imagining touch activates close to 80% of the same brain regions as actual physical contact, which is why urges can feel intensely physical, even when nothing around you has changed. Sometimes it's not about sex at all. Here's where it gets counterintuitive. Not every sexual urge is actually about desire. Sometimes your brain is searching for something else entirely. Comfort, connection, relief from stress, and it finds the fastest route to dopamine. It knows. When you're lonely, overwhelmed, or bored, your reward system looks for a shortcut. A sexual thought becomes a quick hit of feel-good chemistry. It's not weakness, it's your brain trying to regulate itself. Psychologists call this misattribution of arousal, when the body's signals for stress, warmth, and attraction run through overlapping wiring. So a sudden urge in the middle of an emotional conversation or after a long, hard day might simply mean your brain is saying, I need closeness. I need calm. Why fighting it makes it worse? You've probably noticed this. You try to push the thought away, and it gets louder. That's not a coincidence. Urges are biological signals. They're not moral statements. Your brain evolved over millions of years to make sure certain drives stayed persistent, which means willpower alone isn't the switch people think. It is. But here's the thing. You don't need to suppress urges to have control over them. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for reasoning and decision-making, can step in and regulate that energy, but only when you stop fighting and start observing. Think of it like a notification on your phone. You can't stop it from appearing, but you get to decide whether you act on it or let it pass. What actually helps? When an urge shows up unexpectedly, try pausing and asking one question. What does my body actually need right now? Sometimes the answer is rest. Sometimes it's connection. Sometimes it really is just your nervous system releasing built-up tension. The act of noticing, without judgment, activates self-awareness and naturally strengthens impulse regulation. Practices like slow breathing, grounding, or even just naming what you're feeling out loud can shift the brain out of reactive mode. Not because you're suppressing the urge, but because you're meeting it with understanding instead of resistance. The next time a sudden urge appears, don't spiral into shame or confusion. Your brain is sending a signal, one that's been part of human biology for a very long time. Those signals don't define you. They're information, and the moment you understand what they're actually communicating, you stop being at their mercy. You're not your urges. You're the one deciding what to do with them.